I never forget, I get out of college, all my life I worked ever since I was like 5, 6 years old. I was always on the job sites doing stuff. Well, I graduated from college. I think, okay, I'm going to be in the office now
Hmm.
and managing the job sites because I got a management degree. I have associates
Right,
in
right, right.
architecture. I'm going to be
Yeah,
drawing
yeah,
homes and doing stuff like that.
yeah.
The first day I get out there and he goes, hey, I want you to do this. No problem. I get on the job site. My dad pulls up to the site in front of all the workers with an old ladder hanging out of the back of the truck. And one guy goes, what's he doing with that ladder? That should be thrown away. He gets out, takes a saw and cuts the bottom rung of the ladder off, hands me the ladder, the bottom part of the ladder, and goes, you're on the bottom of the ladder. You got to work your way up, and you don't even have a ladder yet, right in front of everybody. So that was an interesting. I mean, it was a great learning experience, but
Yeah.
nothing was handed to me. In my house, if you wanted something, you have to work for it. And
Mm.
that was the big key. You learned how to work for it.
Welcome to the Real Estate Pros Show, where we interview real estate investing professionals from coast to coast, as well as the service providers that serve the real estate investing industry. Our goal is simple: share what's working now to help you improve and scale your business to the next level and meet the pros that can help you get there. Real Estate Pros is powered by Investor Fuel, America's leader in helping real estate investors and professionals build the business you need to live the life you've always dreamed of. Let's start today's show. Property insurance for real estate investors doesn't have to be difficult, but it does need to be there to protect you when you need it. MyInvestorInsurance.com not only provides insurance at 15 to 30% cheaper than traditional agencies, it's built specifically for real estate investors like you. You can set up an account in about 2 minutes, get quotes on properties, turn on and turn off insurance for your fix and flip or rental properties in around 2 minutes without having to talk to anyone directly, all through our portal. There's no better way or faster way to make sure you've got the coverage you need to protect you, and no more lengthy policies either. Once you're set up, you're billed monthly and prorated by the day for however long your policy is active. It's powered by MSI, the third largest independent MGA, with 1.5 million customers and more than $1 billion in cumulative premiums written. Get set up today in about 2 minutes at myinvestoriinsurance.com/fuel.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Real Estate Pros Podcast. I am your host, Q Edmonds. Excited to be here today. Have another fantastic guest, someone with 30 plus years of experience in this business. So when I tell you he's done it all, he's probably done it all. Third generation builder, big on, passive income, helping people find passive income, build passive income, landlord, investor, investments. We probably gonna talk about a lot of different things today. And so I am so excited to introduce you guys to Mr. Tim Tepes. Mr. Tim, how you doing today, sir?
Good, Quinn. Nice to meet you and be on your podcast. I look forward to this. It's going to be some great conversations we're going to have.
Absolutely, sir. So listen, I want to dive in. I want you to tell the people what your main focus is these days. If you wanted to, Mr. Tim, give us a little bit of an origin story of kind of how you got to where you are, how you got into real estate. We love origin stories. And then tell them what part of the world you're in. Main focus, origin story, and where you are. So, Mr. Tim, you got the floor, sir.
Hey, Q, we don't have enough time today to go through on this podcast and my background. I really enjoy this. I tell you what, I was very fortunate to be blessed to bought into a third generation building, into a family that started in 1950. My father
Mm,
bought him out in 79. And then
yeah.
unfortunately, my father got sick before COVID, started getting dementia and going blind. And I kind of took over his construction company. But in 1990, when I graduated college, I got into real estate. So I
Mm,
got into investing in real estate and kind of drifted a little bit away from the construction part. I never really took a paycheck from it, even though I helped sell the new construction. I was on the job sites every day. But then, I got involved with real estate, got involved with rental properties. I got involved with passive income and, had a lot of great mentors along the way, like Rich Dad, Poor Dad. I look at it this way, I had a lot of rich dads. I had a grandfather, I should say grandfather that was wonderful. And I should think he's great, but it was wonderful and taught me hard work on both sides of grandparents. And then my dad watching him grow up. And then people started coming into my lives. And it's always like they say, never be the smartest person in the room. And it just seemed like all along the way, God has put great people in front of me and helped me along the way. So, here we are 30 some years later, and, it's been a wonderful journey.
Yeah, yeah. I love it, man. I love you talk about, the family business, I guess what you say started mid what 1950, but your dad you said bought about 1970. Did I hear that about right? About that?
1979, he took him over my grandfather with a
1979.
second heart attack. So yeah,
Got
you
you.
know,
Wow.
just
Yeah.
watching and growing up in the business, you learn great work ethics and great habits. You
Yeah.
learn how to communicate with people, treat people fairly, treat them right. My grandfather and dads did a lot of built custom homes on handshakes.
Mm.
When your word is your word, and
That's right.
people get to know you, like you, and trust you, and that's the big key in any type of business. And like we're doing right now, a lot of one-on-one talking. That's the key. People don't
Absolutely.
realize that.
Absolutely. No, you're absolutely right, especially with AI on the rise. One thing that you can't replace is the human interaction. Like it's some things that you can't replace. And so you're absolutely right. It's in this generation, it's kind of getting lost in the sauce a little bit. But I'm glad, it's people like you and me that value the real conversation face to face, even though we're using technology. So we're not in the stone age, but it's still this face to face interaction that we still value and put a high premium on. And so I love the fact.
Stop living on an island and join the #1 mastermind in America for professional real estate investors. Investor Fuel is a community of hundreds of the nation's top investors working together to build stronger businesses and better lives. In addition to the amazing community of real estate investors acting as a board of advisors for one another, Investor Fuel members have access to 100% funding on purchase and repairs for our members only, a health insurance program, and benefits and discounts that more than pays for the membership of most of our members, meaning it's actually costing you money to not be a member of Investor Fuel. If you're looking to scale your business and build a business that allows you to live the life of your dreams, please visit investorfuel.com today and book a call with our team.
You touched on a good point there on technology. When I got in the business, we didn't have computers. We didn't have fax machines. We didn't have cell phones. Public records was on microfiche,
Yeah.
Multi-million-dollar businesses, off a cell phone, basically, and I come to your house, log on your computer within 2 seconds, and my phone and everything's ringing on your computer, and completely paperless communication. But still, you got to pick up the phone, make the phone call, or go visit somebody and talk to them, face to face, eye contact. Clear.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So listen, I want to pull on kind of like your 30 years. You got 30 years of experience, third generation. You done mentioned your great granddad, your granddad, your dad. You done mentioned all in a short period of time. So I would love, throughout your life and where you are now, are there personal strategies that you can identify that have helped you grow successfully as a businessman? I know some people, read books, some people meditate. So are there personal things that have helped you along your years to be where you are today?
That's a great question because I was a poor student. I was a B.C. student. I struggled through school. I had a guidance counselor who told me I'll never make it through college. And even my first semester, my comp professor said, son, you should quit school and save your parents the money, save yourself money. But anyways, I graduated in 4 years. And, I learned along the way is basically time management and always have to read ahead and study. And I hate reading, to be honest with you. So thank God now we say about the internet. I do a lot of podcasts. I do a lot of webinars. Book summaries, listen to them on tape. So, if again, as I said before, if you're not learning, you're not earning. So I'm always looking, and I said about people coming into your lives. So if you could take a little crumb from every person that you picked up and led along the way and just keep adding to it. And thank God I had some great mentors along the way. I had a real estate broker that I met. I followed and, became part of his company and was a great mentor to me. He taught me actually dollar cost average dividend reinvestment. They had a stock group, a stock club that was big on dollar cost dividend reinvestments. And that's how I learned to passive income, and I'll explain that a little bit more later in the show. We could talk about that. And now I'm in another investment group where they're more about just growth. How much can we make in growth? How much is a stock in rising price? But I still like the dividend reinvestments. I like the passive incomes. And I can explain when I talk about active income, semi-passive, and then complete passive income. So there's a lot we could talk about.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So definitely, I think you can make room for that. I definitely would love to know, as you built, did you run into any kind of adversity? Has it always been easy? Has it been smooth sailing? Did your dad just pass it down to you and you was like, oh, man, this is easy, but have you ran up into any adversity as you was building?
Oh my gosh, that is a perfect question. And why I want to say that is I graduated college with a business degree in business management and associate degree in architecture. So I had no clue I was going to get into real estate. My real estate was building homes. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
not investment properties, not resales, nothing like that. So I never forget, I get out of college, all my life I worked, ever since I was like 5, 6 years old, I was always on the job sites doing stuff. Well, I graduated from college, I think, okay, I'm going to be in the office now
Mm.
and managing the job sites because I got a management degree. I have associate in
Right.
architecture. I'm going to be
Yeah.
drawing homes and doing stuff like that.
Yeah.
The first day I get out there and he goes, hey, I want you to do this. No problem. I get on the job site. My dad pulls up to the site in front of all the workers with an old ladder hanging out of the back of the truck. And one guy goes, what's he doing with that ladder? That should be thrown away. He gets out, takes a saw and cuts the bottom rung of the ladder off, hands me the ladder, the bottom part of the ladder, and goes, you're on the bottom of the ladder. You got to work your way up, and you don't even have a ladder yet, right in front of everybody. So that was an interesting, I mean, it was a great learning experience, but
Yeah.
nothing was handed to me. In my house, if you wanted something, you have to work for it. And
Mm.
that was the big key. You learned how to work for it because, there was tough times in the 70s and that, some of the listeners may remember, some may not, but, when there was, on days where you got gas, if you had an even license plate number, you got gas. If it was an odd license plate number, you got gas. You could
I
get
did
gas.
not know that.
Because, look at that. I think it was during, I think Carter was president at that time. And I was
Okay.
like 5 years old. And I went down Main Street or Hamilton Street in Allentown, which I'm from the Lehigh Valley, just north of Philadelphia and just west of New York City. And I was holding a sign, what about my future?
Mm.
For the Builders
Mm.
Association on a big
Yeah.
front end loader going down.
If you're looking for consistent, high-quality leads, look no further than Investor Machine. Investor Machine isn't just another agency, it's the most sophisticated, data-driven lead generation company on the planet for real estate investors, and serves the role of being not just a lead generator for your business, but a marketing partner that is helping you achieve your goals along the way. Go to investormachine.com to learn more and schedule a call with our team today.
So I've seen the roller coaster, the ups and downs of real estate, and it is a roller coaster. And unfortunately, in our market, it goes up, it levels off and goes up. It levels
Yeah.
off and goes up. We never had that major downturn, but I've seen challenges and I've seen our family struggle. So
Yeah.
I'm aware of that.
Yeah. Thank you. I mean, thank you for sharing that, because there's people that's listening, there are different parts of their journey, and of course from different walks of life. And I love how you talked about wasn't nothing handy to you. You had to work for it. And there's people, they are in situations where it's pretty tough. And I just want people to know that you keep working, you keep learning, you keep finding the tools that work for you, you're going to succeed. You're going to find a way out of any situation that you're in. And so I'm so glad that you brought that up. I appreciate that.
What it is, you hit the nail right on the hammer with the nail there. You have to show up. That's the key. Showing up is
Yeah.
half the battle, and
Mhm.
learning at least one thing a day. I think if you want, there's 365 days in a year. You learn one thing a day. That's 365 new things you've learned. So showing up and learning.
Yeah, I love it. So let me ask you this: with that being said, do you have a next real goal? Like, is there another thing that you're aiming for? Are you looking to scale something, solve something? Like, what's next for you?
Well, there's a couple things. I mean, I'm learning AI right now, as we know. But
Yeah.
what I'm looking at right now is the complete passive income. I have two daughters. Obviously, they don't want to do anything with the real estate business.
Gotcha.
So, I have a number of rental properties, but I've been doing for a lot of clients, and this has been helping out. And I said earlier about the 1031 exchanges. So we're
Yeah.
saving on taxes.
Mhm.
Then putting them into K1 so they have the benefits of being a landlord and an owner, but without the TTT, the tenants, toilets, and trash. And that's not called Tim Tepes today either. So
Gotcha.
the tenants, toilets, and trash. All right. So,
Yes.
I got to do a little plug there for myself. But anyways,
Absolutely.
but they could have that income, they could have the tax advantages, and yet then they could take that as a DST, a Delaware Statutory Trust, and then they could put that into a trust. And it could be a Rockefeller Trust, a Dynasty Trust, a Waterfall Trust, whatever you want to call it, and then pass it on to their children. So I'm
Yeah.
not coming here to be a financial advisor or an attorney or anything in that respect, but you get that into a trust, a family trust, a dynasty trust that could pass on from generations to generations and let that, as I said earlier, compounding interest. And your children can live off. Now you got to set guidelines. They just can't go out and take fancy trips. But hey, for
Right.
education, for a house, there's a lot of stuff that you could put into that trust, and really, really gets exciting later in life. Those are my goals right now.
I love you. And so you said your two girls are not looking to go into the real estate business.
No.
No, gotcha. I
No.
understand. I understand. But as a wise father, just like your father with you, as a wise dad, you're still giving them the tools to be successful. Not only the tools for them to be successful, but also some disciplinary tools, because that's really what's going to define their success is how disciplined they are and how they stick to just some integral things that you are helping them build on the inside. So I hear you on that.
Yeah, so what you do is you form a family business, okay? So your
Gotcha.
family
Yep.
becomes a business, okay? And in that business, you have rules, you have guidelines, okay? And
Yep.
if you look at the Rockefellers are still going strong. The
Yes, they are.
Vanderbilts went broke because they didn't have rules and guidelines.
Yeah.
Even take it to the Hiltons, okay? The Hiltons right now do not own hotels.
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
but they're still living off their trust and off their dynasty trust. They're living off their name, okay?
Yeah.
Not saying I have a
Yeah.
name to live off of, but if you have the passive income in there, you could set your business, your family business up and have that going on for generations. And, it could be 3, 4 generations down the road. And they're going to say, who was Tim Tepes? That was your great great grandfather. He set this up for you. And,
Come
and
on.
just keeping that family line going on forever.
Come on. Absolutely. So I love how you talked about, your kids, and those are the personal relationships that of course you're building with your kids, great relationship with your kids. But I want to talk about building business relationships. Has building relationships with, I'm not sure if you got partners, clients, or just people in general when it comes to business, has building relationships impacted you in a positive way?
If you're a new or newer real estate investor looking to launch or grow your real estate investing business, please check out Investor Fuel Club. It's a coaching community, but unlike anything you've ever seen before. And you can actually partner with members of our mastermind from coast to coast on deals right in your market. There's no better opportunity to build a consistent business than to literally partner with pros to help you avoid costly mistakes, avoid the need for capital to do deals, and help you eliminate your fears as you're starting your business. Learn more about Investor Fuel Club at investorfuel.com/club.
Well, yeah, because real estate is all about relationships.
Got
I always say it's not all what you know, but it's who you know.
Yeah.
You never
Yeah.
know where that next one, you never burn bridges. You never know when that next door is going to open to you and who you're going to meet. And
Yeah.
again, as I said, I had a lot of great mentors along the way. And now what I'm helping is I have a lot of guys that's interesting is they're not college graduates. I'm not
Mm.
saying because what is a job? Just over broke, right? Job.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
these investors here, or these guys here, what's interesting, they're small business owners. They're plumbers, they're electricians, they're painters, they're landscapers, grass cutters. And, I sat down with a couple of these guys and they're part of my team now, which is great because, not only do I help them and refer their business out, they refer business to me. I'm also helping them build their real estate portfolio. So they're buying those 2 units, 4 units, maybe up to 12 type units and building a portfolio, maybe 30, 40 of real estate of rental properties that they're bringing in income. So we're looking at that, then taking that income that they're making and investing that into a stock market, into maybe a dividend aristocratic stock or a low index ETF dividend stock or something like that, and still building income and wealth and teaching them different strategies. And I came almost like an advisor, but yet I have other people advising me and helping me along the way,
Yeah.
and then trying to help pass that along. So
Yeah. Yeah.
it becomes, like I said earlier, the snowball effect. You
That
roll a
part.
snowball and it just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and that's all power of compounding.
It is the power of compounding. I absolutely love it. So listen, before we give people, maybe information on how to get in contact with you, is there anything that we haven't talked about that you may want to talk about? Any subject that we haven't touched? Is it any kind of word of inspiration, education that you want to give? Like, is there anything else you feel like the people could benefit from here?
There's a couple things there. So some of the things you get proud of is when you help somebody. Had a widow, unfortunately. She lost her husband, and we sold some real estate for her, and it was close to $10 million worth of real estate. Okay,
Yeah.
so we got to sell that property off. Got to put her into a 1031 exchange. Okay, saving her close to $2 million in taxes.
Wow.
Okay, so by doing a 1031 exchange, saving $2 million taxes, even at 5% return, that's $100,000 just on the money that she's saving from the government.
Yeah.
All right.
Mm.
Now you take that money and you invest it in. And what's nice is we diversified into diversified real estate across the country. This is key. So it was self-storage units, it was mobile home parks, assisted livings, hotels, apartment complexes, and some individual. Matter of fact, even one of the buildings is owned by our government. It's Homeland Security building, and it was a brand new building, which is built 35-year lease. So you basically
Wow.
come almost like a REIT, like a tenant in common. But she's making over $500,000 a year now. None of you have to get out of bed.
Mm.
I became her biggest hero because one, I saved her in taxes. Two, she still had an income and she doesn't have the headaches of everyday operations. And she
Yeah.
could pass that on to her family members because we hooked her up with a great attorney, an estate attorney that knows trust inside and out, award-winning trusting. These are people you have to have on your team and know how to get a hold of them and
Yeah.
put it in trust. Yeah, it costs her a few bucks to set up that trust, but look at all the money she's saving and making. And now
Yeah.
she could pass it on to family. So I've done that for a number of different clients. And, that is a great niche. And a lot of real estate agents don't know that, or even real estate investors, so it's a great thing. It's a great tool to have in your toolbox. And, like you and I, Quinn, right now are just talking, and, that's something maybe you weren't aware of, or maybe the listeners aren't. And it just helps people along the way. And I always, believe you give more and you get what you get back. But, I always like to give, and I always like to see people smile at the end of the day and make their lives better. That's the
Yeah.
key.
Yeah, it is an old saying to say, if you give, it will be given back to you, pressed down, shaken together, and running over. So, yeah,
You got it.
yes, sir. Absolutely. Well, listen, Mr. Tim, if someone wanted to reach out to you, connect with you, learn more about what you're doing, how can they get in contact with you, sir?
Very simple. I'll give you my cell phone. It's 484
Hmm.
275 0056, or you can reach me at my email, which is just simple timtepes@gmail.com. That's the easiest one to use. But yeah, just reach out if you have questions. I always enjoy talking to people. And if I could help you get to the next level, that's what always counts.
And Mr. Tim, thank you so much, sir. Thank you for your time. Definitely thank you for your story, talking about your great granddad, your granddad, your dad, the third generation, talking about your kids. Thank you so much for just telling us a little bit about your background. Appreciate your story so much. Also, appreciate your perspective. Love the way you think, and thank you for bringing that mindset to this platform. So I appreciate you so much. Thank you for being here today.
I appreciate it. I look forward to talking again and maybe following up on this. This would be great.
Absolutely, absolutely. So listen, y'all heard Mr. Tim. You got the value from Mr. Tim. So definitely check him out, but definitely make sure you are subscribed here. That way, when we keep bringing incredible people up, just like Mr. Tim, you can just come in and get the great content. So thank you
That
again.
like button.
There you go. Hit that like. You heard Mr. Tim. Hit that like button.
Let's make this go viral.
I love it. I love it. Thank you for that, Mr. Tim. And thank you all. Listen, we'll see you all on the next time.
Thanks for joining us for today's Real Estate Pros Show. You can learn more about the amazing benefits of the Investor Fuel Mastermind community, including surrounding yourself with hundreds of other rock stars, 100% financing for your deals, and members-only discounts from vendors you're likely already using that, as a member of Investor Fuel, will save you more than the cost of your membership. Visit investorfuel.com to learn more. If you're interested in joining us as a guest of this show, please visit investorfuel.com/pros to apply. You can also check the show notes for access to free resources, how to get access to world-class lead generation, and much more. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another episode. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next show.